Hi, my name is Mark Wayne Tant. Today is April 30th, 2020. We are at my in-laws' house today, and this is the persuasion speech for Comm, communication class. Imagine walking to your car and you're approached by an attacker. Well, what do? Fight or flight may kick in, but what if fear overcomes your body and you are overwhelmed with hesitation on what to do? I'm here to tell you that knowledge is more powerful than fear. I believe that knowledge is more powerful than fear, and that it'll be able to help you adapt and overcome against any threat. According to Oxford Dictionary, knowledge is defined as facts, information, or skills acquired by a person through their experience or education. I'm going to explain knowledge through my own education and experience. About 8 years ago, I went through rookie school and became a police officer. In rookie school, they taught us how to apprehend criminals and how to tell if someone is on narcotics or not. The first summer, I would be tested on both. It was a quiet Sunday morning, and my training officer told me that we were going to go arrest somebody on the street corner. They had felony warrants. This seemed plausible to me that this person was going to go peacefully, like he said, because the first 4 arrests I made, all I did was tell them, hey, you're under arrest, stand up, and they did. Well, this individual decided he was not going to go to jail, and he took off running. My training officer got there first. We caught up to him, and the guy had superhuman strength, turned around and punched my training officer in the face, breaking his 2 front teeth and fracturing his jawline. I then jumped on his back, and he picked me up and started slamming me against a mailbox. With every slam, I felt fear rising through my body. A third officer finally came, and we were able to get the person into custody. So, what went wrong? Well, all the red flags were there. The the subject, when we approached him, target glanced an escape route as soon as we approached him, indicating that he was going to run. As we caught up to him, his fists were balled up, and he was ready for a fight, indicating that he was going to fight us. And we learned later on from a reliable source that this individual was on PCP, which has elements to give you numbness to pain and aggression. Over the years, I learned different ways on how to arrest people through other officers and learn how to talk to people a little bit better. But it seemed that most criminals would break the same laws and it would be the same criminals. And most victims had the same traits as well. So I decided to go back to school. In criminology, I learned that all the different theories of why criminals break the law. And in victimology, I learned on how people become victims. I decided to take this newfound knowledge and to join a larger police department. At this time, I had been a police officer for over 6 years, and I had been in dozens of fights, and I even had a bunch of new gear, including a taser. I had to go to in-service class for this taser, and to be tased was optional. I decided to go ahead and get tased because I wanted to articulate what it felt like to be tased, and that way, when I needed to use that type of force. And it was the worst 5 seconds of my life. But why tell you when I can show you? So, several months later, I found myself chasing a criminal down. I chased him several blocks, and when I caught up to him, I was out of breath. He was out of breath, but he was screaming and yelling, cursing. He turned around, he had his fist balled up, and he came charging at me, ready to fight. Well, I was able to, based off the totality of the circumstances, use my taser. So I decided to pull out my taser. I gave him commands to stop, and he still came towards me, so I tased him. And he flexed through it. And he's like, "Is that all you have?" as he laughed. So that fear started coming through my back again. Luckily, I saw behind him blue lights coming, and it was my partner. And when he got there, he came up from behind him and did a double leg takedown and took him straight to the ground. And we were able to put him in custody very quickly. I told him, I said, "My taser didn't work." And he's like, "Well, I don't use a taser. I use a different set of skills." And he's like, "If you like to learn these skills, you can come to the mat room and I'll teach you someday." So my partner soon became my trainer. Over the next year, every week he would teach me different jiu-jitsu techniques, and he would also incorporate other fighting styles into those, including Muay Thai, boxing, and wrestling. And he always quote Bruce Lee when he did this as well. And he would say, "In building a statue, a sculpture doesn't keep adding clay to a subject. Actually, he keeps chiseling away at the non-essentials until the truth of his creation is revealed without obstruction." And what this meant was that he taught me how to take away the fear and be able to analyze the threat and then address it accordingly. For example, as a volunteer, let's say somebody was going to come up behind you and put you into a chokehold. Well, first thing what somebody would do is panic. Well, so what we're going to do is, if I came up behind her, she knows to tuck her chin down and that she can breathe. Are you threatened right now? Is there a threat?
No.
And then we're going to address the threat of me being behind her. She's going to drop her weight, grab my arm, and then she can pivot and throw me out from behind her. Now, the thing about this is, whenever someone grabs you, technically you're grabbing them as well. So right now, I'm grabbing her as well as she grabbing me. But what's my threat? Well, it's not really a threat. She can't punch me. I can drop my weight so she can't carry me off and take me away. Okay? And then all I have to do is I can take her thumb muscle, stretch her arm out, and now I'm going to keep this, and I can figure four my arms, and I can break her arm if I wanted to. Now, it seems a little bit extreme. Thank you, ma'am. It seems a little extreme, but a stranger's not going to come up behind you and grab you from behind for any good reasons, especially during these social distancing times. So over the next year, I would be challenged on several different occasions with my education, and I will learn, I use my verbal jiu-jitsu, which is defined by Dr. George Thomas as staying calm in the midst of conflict, deflecting verbal abuse, and offering empathy in the face of antagonism on most of my calls. And then in the rest of the calls, let's say the person was irate and did need to go to jail, then I would be able to subdue that person with minimal force needed. In school, I learned that criminals are opportunists, but you can prevent yourself from being a victim through knowledge. There are many forms of self-defense, including various different types of martial arts that you can learn, or just being proficient in a weapon. But you got to be able to address the threat and act accordingly and not be afraid. By learning knowledge, you can overcome fear. Thank you.
Very good, Mark. Yay.